Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be talking to you about my car accident, and I'm also going to talk about my mental health and my physical health that ties along with it. But let's start off with that day. So it was in October 2018. So I went to a baby shower that day, and I had gone with a friend, and the baby shower was down the street from where my ex lived. Well, he was my boyfriend at the time, but he's my ex now. So I'm just going to say my ex, but he was my boyfriend at the time. So, yeah, so the baby shower was like down the street from where my ex lives, and I had told my friend, like, do you want to go with me to my boyfriend's house? Like, I told him that I would stop by, and then she's like, no, I don't want to go. So then I was like, okay, so I brought her here, like, to my house, because she had left her car here, and I was like debating, like, should I go, should I not go, you know, because I had already said that I was going to go, but then I was like, but then I had driven back, so I'm like, should I just go back or not? And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go back because I already said that I was gonna go. So I went, and then so we hung out, whatever, and then it was time for me to go home. So I was driving home, and then on my way home, it was weird that day because I was wearing makeup that day, and I was like, if I died tonight, so crazy, but I was like, if I died tonight, would they like remove my makeup and then put on new makeup, and like would they do my makeup the way I do my makeup, or would they do my makeup like, you know, like how do people do makeup on like people that are dead? Like, I don't know why I was just thinking about this stuff as I was driving home. So I was driving, I was, you know, on the freeway, got off the freeway on my regular exit, and I was going, and like there was a bunch of green lights, so I was already going the speed limit, which was 45 miles per hour. So I was going 45, all green lights, all green lights, all green lights. And then, so I just kept going. And then all of a sudden, I was crossing this green light. And then I saw something next to me. And I thought it was like a car that was in the lane next to me getting too close to me. So I was about to like move over. But as I was turning, it just like came, like a car came and just poof. And then I remember my car was stick shift. So I was holding... with this hand, I was holding the shift gear thingy, and then with this hand, I was holding the steering wheel. So, so this is how I was turning, and then boom, I got hit. And then I just remember, like, turning, my heart is, like, beating right now. I just remember, like, I was spinning, and, like, I just remember seeing everything in, like, kind of slow motion, and in my head, I was like, whoa, like, I was just, like I had never been in an accident, so I didn't like know what to think or anything. So I was just like going, and I was like, whoa, I'm getting in an accident right now. And then the car finally stopped spinning, and then I was like, whoa. And then I went to take a breath, and I couldn't breathe, and I was just like, and then like in my head I was like, dude, what if I die right now? Like, what if this is my last breath? And I was like, no, I can't die, because I literally had said that day that I have to go to confession. Like, I had just said that I am not in a state of grace, that I am not ready to die. Like, that was basically what I said by saying that. And so I was like, yeah, so I just remember I was like, you know, trying to breathe, and then I'm like, and I was about to freak out, but I told myself in my head, I'm like, don't freak out, because you're gonna make it worse. So I didn't freak out. I was like, okay, calm down, just try to find your phone and call someone. So in my car, there was like this center console thing, and on the little like cubby where like under the display and stuff is where I would usually leave my phone while I was driving. So it was supposed to be there, but it wasn't there. So I was like crawling around my car, like trying to find my phone, and I was like, you know, again, starting to freak out. I'm like, calm down, okay, like do the math here, you know? And then I was like, okay, so if I was going this way and I got hit this way, then my phone must have flown this way, so it should be under my driver's seat. So that's where my phone was. And if you watched my first video, I mentioned that I had just gotten my phone screen fixed. So my first thought was like, dang, this phone screen better not have shattered again, because I just fixed it. Like, that was my biggest worry at that moment. Which, like, why? Because I still couldn't breathe right. But, like, anyways, so I picked up my phone, and I looked at it, and it wasn't shattered, so that's good. And then, and I was like, okay, like, who do I call? And then I was gonna start texting my ex, like, I got in a car accident. I'm like, why would I text him? I should call him, right? So I called him, and then I was like, hey, so I crashed, and Oh yeah, and while I was like looking for my phone, I was like crawling around. I'm like, what do I do? Like in my head, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna pray. So I prayed an Our Father and a Hail Mary, and I was just like, and that's when I figured out that my phone was probably under my seat. So like, divine intervention probably, because like, who thinks like, you know what I mean? Anyways, but yeah, so then I picked up my phone and I called him, and then right as I was calling him, someone had stopped to like help out, and they're like, hey, can you get out because your car is making noises? And I was like, I can't get out. So like all he was hearing was like me saying I can't get out, you know? So then they're like, have you tried the door? Because like, so all the airbags went off, like all of them, even the window ones, like the front ones, the front steering wheel one, they all went off. It didn't look like I could get out because I couldn't see out the window, and I was like kind of in shock. So like I was literally trying to get out through the freaking moonroof, like, excuse me. but yeah, so I was just like kind of like out of it mentally, you know, just trying to keep calm, which I did keep pretty calm. Like I didn't cry or anything, but yeah, I was just trying to keep calm and be logical about it because I wasn't trying to like die, you know. So when they're like, yeah, like, can you open the door? And I was like, oh yeah, the door. So then I like opened the door and I got out, and then I went to the car that was like helping out, you know, and I was like, oh, I should probably call 911. And so I call 911, and like a freaking operator answers, like an operator, like, please dial blah blah blah. And I was like, well, isn't 911 supposed to have like live people like talking to you when you have an emergency? But apparently not. But maybe that was just me, or maybe because they had already called, so like they already knew about it or something. I don't know. But yeah, that call was an automatic message, so I don't know why that happened, but that's like the only time I've ever called 911. And they're like, yeah, I already called 911. I was like, okay. So I hung up, and then I was like, okay, let me call my parents. So I call my dad, and then yeah, so they all came. I was like sitting there, like the paramedics came and everything, and they were like checking my vitals and whatnot. And I was like, and they're like, do you want to go on the ambulance? And I was like, well, I have pain here and here, and I can't breathe right, but if that's normal after an accident, then like I'm fine. I don't want to go on the ambulance. They're like, yeah, I mean, that's pretty normal for a car accident. So I was like, okay. So I didn't go on the ambulance because ambulances are expensive. But looking back, maybe I should have gone. I don't know. But yeah, so the ambulance, they made me sign a little like waiver thing that basically was like, she refused to go on the ambulance. And I was like, okay. So I signed it, and then I was just sitting there, and then it turns out that the guy that had hit me ran away. So like his car wasn't movable, so his car was still there. So his insurance and everything was still in the car, and his car was still there, but he had left. So he left, and he yeah, we didn't know where he was. And then his friend, his passenger, was also trying to leave. Like they found him down the street with like a bloody head and like whatnot. Like that's how they knew it was him, because like he had like a bloody head. So then they brought that guy back, and like they breathalyzed him, and he had a little alcohol in his system, but there's no way of like checking if the driver had alcohol in his system. So we still, like, to this day, I don't know if he did or didn't, but like we can all assume with certain things. But I mean, I don't know. I don't want to like say something is fact when I don't know if it is or not, but yeah. So after that, the car was getting like cleaned up, like off the street and stuff, and it wasn't drivable, obviously. And so this car accident happened at the gas station, right in front of the gas station where I work. But yeah, and then so we went into the gas station, and I bought some candy because I wanted candy. Like, I'm telling you, I thought this was gonna be like just like something that I would laugh at later on. Like I would be like, huh, I got in a car accident, huh. Or like whatever. Like I thought it was just gonna be like, dang it, my car is gone. Like that's it, you know? Like I didn't think it was gonna be a big deal. And then my dad drove me to the hospital, and then at the hospital, I literally couldn't like move at all. But I thought, you know what, this is like normal for a car accident, you know, because I'd never been in one. I remember the x-ray person was like, hey, how are you doing? I was like, oh, just in pain. And he's like, oh, you're in pain? Do you want a wheelchair? And I was like, no, I'm fine. And he's like, no, like, let me get you a wheelchair. Because, like, I just thought, like, I was being a weenie and that this pain was, like, super normal for a car accident, you know? And even going to the ER, I thought it was gonna be an exaggeration. Like I thought I was fine. So I went to the ER, and then I got x-rays done just to make sure that I didn't have any internal bleeding. So basically there's like different things that they look for you to be considered a trauma patient. And I had 2 of the signs, which is like the seatbelt strap mark here, but I just didn't have the one on my stomach. So they didn't consider me a trauma patient because of that. Yeah, they just kind of checked me, and they're like, yeah, like you should be fine. It's gonna hurt more tomorrow and the next day, but you should be like feeling better after that, but it's gonna hurt for sure. So they kept like telling me like it's gonna hurt really bad. It's gonna feel like you got hit by a bus. So I was like, okay, I was expecting pain, right? After we were done at the hospital, we went home, and I laid down, and like I could not like move. Like here's a little like Snapchat of me like trying to move. Look how slow I have to move. And again, I was recording this because I thought it was funny. Like I was like, haha, like I can't move this way. I can't even reach my straw in my thing. Like I couldn't even do this to like take a sip of water because it hurt so bad. So yeah, again, I thought it was just me being a weenie, you know? And it was on a Saturday night going into Sunday. So like I literally was like, oh, well, I don't have a car to go to mass, like to go to church. And I was like, I need to find a ride for church. Like I thought I was fine. I thought like this was nothing, just my car is messed up. I have to get a new car. That's what I thought. I thought everything that I was feeling was normal. Yeah, it turns out I wasn't fine, and I wasn't even able to like to get off my bed. I had to turn on my side and then put my legs, like make my legs hang off the bed, and then with my legs get up and like slowly get up. And even like the motion of getting up, like the pressure felt like I was gonna break my clavicle area. Like it felt like it was just gonna break. Like it hurt really bad. And yeah, like my mom had to feed me and stuff for the first few days, and then I ended up going to the doctor the day after because I noticed some weakness in this arm, and I was like, oh, well, that's not normal because they said pain, not weakness. So I was like, okay, weakness is not normal. So I went to the doctor, and they basically told me like, oh, you just probably have a sprain, like go to some physical therapy and you'll be good. And I was like, okay. So then I started going to physical therapy. And I went for 2 months, and I didn't get better. I actually got worse. Like one day, I think he like massaged me with like this blade thing. And when I took a shower that day, it literally felt like every single little drop of water that was falling on my body felt like a punch, like a hard punch, not even like a ow. Like it was like bad. Like I was like, oh my gosh, what happened here? Yeah, it was a lot more pain than I thought. But I still, like, within the first few months, I was like, oh yeah, like, this is fine. Like, I'm gonna be fine. And then, after that, I started going, like, I saw that the physical therapy wasn't helping. And then around November is when the mental health issues started. Like the end of November, mid to end November. I remember Thanksgiving 2018 was the first time that I contemplated whether I should be here or not. If me surviving my car accident was like a bad thing, you know? Like I thought, you know, I should have just ended there, you know? But so after that, I was just kind of like going through this like depression because I was used to being the type of person that would go somewhere, and I was used to being the type of person that would go somewhere and be like, oh my gosh, there's music, let's dance, like let's put our hands in the air, like, you know, I was used to being I liked driving, like that was my stress reliever. Before I started driving stick shift, I would drive all the time, like a lot. I was the type of person that would, like, let's say if I was starting to get depressed for XYZ, whatever reason, like, I would just clean. Like, I would clean the bathroom, I would clean my room, I would rearrange my room, move my bed. Like, this bed that's in my room right now, I brought it and built it and everything myself. Like, I was very independent with everything. Like, I was just used to trying to do everything on my own. And, like, looking back now, I'm like, that's not very good to the extent that I was. You know what I mean? Like, it's good to be independent, but to the extent that I was, it was, like, prideful. And, like, you know, it's good that now I can step back and look and see, like, you know what? I needed to learn how to ask for help, because obviously I needed help for the simplest things now, and I felt useless, you know? So it was hard to accept that I needed to say, hey, can you please help me by taking my laundry basket downstairs? Can you please help me by feeding me because I can't reach my mouth today? You know, like certain things like that I wasn't used to asking for help. And this accident taught me that I need to learn how to ask for help. And I'm still working on it. I still kind of suck at it sometimes. Like, now that I have like a little bit more mobility, I try to do a lot on my own, and sometimes I pay the price with pain. But yeah, I've learned a little bit more how to ask for help than I did before. That was November, you know, that's when it started. And then around December, January, it got really bad to the point where I was like, I need help, you know, like I can't do this on my own. So I reached out to my attorney and I was like, I need psychological help. And he got me a psychologist, and I started going to him I went to him from December or January to around April. So yeah. But yeah, like when I went to my therapist, I remember one session, like I went in and he's like, how are you doing? And I just cried for a whole hour. Like, no words, literally no words. I just cried for a whole hour. Like, and then he's like, and I remember he asked me, like, would you go on, like, antidepressants and stuff? And I was like, no, because there's a possibility that I could get more depressed. And I know that if I got more depressed, that would not be good. So I said, no, I wouldn't do that. I don't want to risk doing something that I'll regret, you know? So I didn't go on any medication for that, but yeah, I was going to therapy once a week. And yeah, so then, but yeah, after physical therapy, I started going to the chiropractor, and I went to physical therapy for 2 months, and then I went to the chiropractor for 2 months, and I didn't see a change, and I was starting to get very frustrated. And the last time I saw the chiropractor, I was basically in tears, like because he told me, oh, you've been going to the physical therapist for 2 months and you still aren't better? Like, wow, what is he doing? And then I started going to him, and it was 2 months later, and I was just so frustrated that, like, no one was telling me, this is what's wrong with you, this is what we're gonna do to fix it. It was just like, oh, like, let's just crack you. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, like, I had no answers. Yeah, after the 2 months at the chiropractor, I never made an appointment again, but we had talked about seeing a pain management doctor, so he gave me the referral to the pain management doctor, and they gave me a call, and then I made an appointment with them, and then I went to the pain management doctor, and then they referred me to acupuncture. So I did acupuncture for 4 months, and then that helped, like, more than anything that I've done, acupuncture has helped the most, but it still didn't, like, fix me, obviously. I went back to the pain management doctor after the 4 months of acupuncture, and he was like, we have to give you shots. And I said, can you, like, give me, like, can you basically tell me what's in them? Because I would like to know what's gonna go in my body, you know? And he basically, like, laughed at me and, like, made me feel dumb for even asking to, like, know what's gonna go in my body. And then he's like, he just was kind of mocking me because I was asking what was going to go in my body. Like, what were these shots? Like, he told the assistant that was writing, the scribe or whatever, like the girl that was writing everything down, he told her, write down that she's not comfortable, she's afraid of getting shots, so we're gonna try this treatment now, like blah blah blah. And he's like, and write it down for her so she can research it. And I was like he said it so like annoyingly. I was like, excuse me, sir, like that's rude. So I ended up not wanting to go back to him because obviously like I don't feel comfortable with someone treating me when like they think I'm dumb or like don't want to address my concerns, you know what I mean? So I stopped going to him, and then after that I was so frustrated I ended up going to Mexico, you know, TJ always coming through. Well, I went to Ensenada, but yeah, I went to a neurologist in Ensenada, and then he prescribed me a bunch of meds that had me basically drugged up. Like I was in bed literally like just like this. Like that was in that time I couldn't watch YouTube because everyone that I watch is like super energetic, and I couldn't handle that. I couldn't handle watching that because my brain was so slow that like it just felt weird watching that kind of stuff. So I started watching this girl, Lindsay Ray. I'll have her link down below. She talks really like soft and like just does like day-to-day videos, but like she's not like super like in your face, you know? So that's literally I watch every single video on her channel because I couldn't watch anything else. Everything else was too much for my brain at that time. But yeah, like it was weird. It was like if someone was like boo and I got startled, I would feel it first in my toes and then it would slowly go up to me and then I'd be like, whoa. Like it was such a weird feeling. Like I don't even know what those medications were, but I was not okay. But they were like muscle relaxers and stuff, and that didn't help. And then after that, I came back and I talked to my attorney, and he gave me a list of doctors. And so I found a doctor that I was like, okay, I want to go with him. So I went to this doctor, and I liked him a lot. He was very like vocal. He like recorded everything with a voice recorder. So everything he was thinking I knew because he was recording it, you know? So like he was like, she has this, and he would touch and be like, her blah 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 is this, and it's inflamed and blah blah blah. And yeah, like my shoulders, I haven't been able to relax them since my accident. Like they're just like if I try to relax them, it will hurt really bad. I've relaxed them maybe like 4 times in 2 years where I'm like, whoa, like I can relax them. But other than that, like all day, every day, I have to like have it kind of lifted or like, you know, but I don't know why. But yeah, so that doctor ended up telling me, basically he told me you can get cortisone shots or cortisone. I don't know. I know they're 2 very different things, but whichever one goes in your body when you're hurt. But yeah, so he's like, you do that or PRP shots. And PRP shots are basically where like they take out your blood and then they spin it and then they take out the plasma in your blood and then inject it into the injured parts of your body to help heal them. So basically I was like, you know what, like I'm comfortable with trying PRP shots. So we tried it. I got 7 shots. I got 2 on both sides of my shoulders and then 2 on my lower back and 1 on my hip. I got my first like shots on Christmas Eve, and then I got my second shots on New Year's Eve. So I was just like kind of out for both holidays, but like I was like, that's fine. Like I rather have this being done than like not. The PRP shots ended up not really working for me. And then after the PRP shots, I did acupuncture for another 6 weeks. And that acupuncture did help my lower back kind of feel better for a little bit, but I'm like, it's back to how it was. But yeah, and then recently I started going to a new doctor that I started on Thursday, like this week on Thursday. So I still don't know how that's gonna go, but hopefully it'll go well. And throughout this whole process, I've had over 25 x-rays, over 5 MRIs, and just a whole bunch of doctors and a lot of pain. But like I said, this car accident has taught me a lot of stuff, like about myself. I realized that I was too independent to the point of like, you know, being prideful. I found out that I had placed my worth on things that I shouldn't have been placing my worth on. And throughout this process, I've prioritized my faith a lot more. This accident has made me realize that there's more to life than just being able to do X, Y, and Z. You know, there's a reason to be here, even if you feel like you don't know why. There is a reason, because if there wasn't, then you wouldn't be here. You know, there was a reason why I didn't die that night, because I could have easily, like I said, I took a breath and I felt like that could have been my last breath. And there's a reason why I was able to breathe after that. You know, like there's a reason why I'm here. There's a reason why I'm making this video right now. Like I trust that God like has a plan for all of this. But yeah, you guys, that's the gist of what my car accident was all about or whatever. Oh yeah, the guy that hit me, I found out later on in the police report that he was hiding in the bushes of my job, like that gas station. But yeah, they found him there with a broken leg, like dehydrated the next day. So that's, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he went to jail. I don't know anything about him, because so there's a criminal side and there's a like civil side to cases like this, and the criminal side I'm not a part of. I'm only a part of the civil side of this case, so I don't know if he went to jail or not. I don't know anything about that stuff. If you're watching this and you're going through like your process of like a car accident and stuff, if you're trying to look up laws and stuff, make sure you look up tort law, because if you look up personal injury case or whatever, you're gonna get a bunch of lawyers just like basically they're like propaganda, like just being like, hey, come to me, like I'm a lawyer, I'll help you out with your personal injury case. But if you look up tort law, which is like the category which personal injury is under in law, you're gonna find a lot more information. So that's what I did. I would like literally be like study like if I was a law student. But yeah, basically if you want to do your own research, just look up tort law instead of personal injury. Oh yeah, so basically what is messed up on my body is like my upper body. Sorry, I'm literally sweating. It's my upper body, so it's like shoulders, like from here I'm fine, like I could like ooh wee 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 whatever, like it's mostly fine. But if I try to like lift my arms, that's where it like hurts to a certain point, like depending on how sore I am is like how much I can lift my arms. Let me read you a list of my diagnoses. Shout out to Jonathan for explaining these to me, because I had no idea what any of these things meant. Yeah, these are my diagnoses. Segmental and somatic dysfunction of cervical region, that's like the neck area. Segmental and somatic dysfunction of thoracic region, that's like the mid area. And then segmental and somatic dysfunction of lumbar region, that's like the lower back area. Thoracic and lumbar spine sprain, right shoulder joint sprain, right hip sprain, cervical cranial syndrome, cervicalgia, pain in left and right shoulders, pain in left hip, pain of clavicle, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and sleep disturbances. But yeah, that's basically what happened with my car accident. If you have any questions about it, like if you're going through it and you have questions about it, make sure to leave me a comment down below or like DM me on Instagram or something, and I will for sure like give you whatever information I have. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys. Have an amazing day / night.